I'm not gonna lie. I know we'll get into this, but I am. Well, you have some opinions, Mike, but I just want Tampa to stay competitive because Tampa and Florida is one of my favorite rivalries. Like, it's a very fun rivalry, honestly.
Indeed. All right.
It-
Uh, Benny, do you want to start us off and
Oh, sure.
talk about the Canadiens?
oh yeah, yeah. Start us off, bud.
Oh, sure, bud. All right.
Action.
And we are back. Okay.
And welcome back, ladies and gents, to the Duster Squad podcast. We are without Nick today, unfortunately. We're recording this Sunday, June 30th, not January. Sorry,
It's warm. It's a bit warm
Yeah.
for January.
A little bit, yeah. June 30th at 3 p.m. So right before free agency kicks off, which is what, 11 a.m. tomorrow?
I thought it
12
was
a.m. 12 p.m.
noon. I think it's noon.
Okay,
But I
right,
might
right
be
at
wrong.
noon. Right at noon tomorrow. So we're about 20-ish hours before that, 21 hours before that. So really the worst possible time. but we gotta get. There's no good time, honestly, to record a podcast at this point in the year because it's just
No.
everything's happened. There's trades all the time. Signings are gonna happen here in the next couple days. Draft just happened. There's no real good time, but we're gonna do it right now because we have plenty to talk
yeah.
about.
Oh yeah.
But how was your guys' last 3 weeks? We haven't spoken in 3 weeks. I think the last time we spoke, the
Was it
Oilers.
3?
I think it was 3.
Two.
Was it 2? Was it only 2?
I thought it was 2. I think it was only 2 weeks ago.
Regardless, I'm fairly certain the last time we spoke, it was 3-1 Panthers in the cup.
Yeah,
final,
and
I
we were
believe.
like,
Yeah.
oh, gonna be Panthers in a walk. Not worried that they lost
Yeah.
this one.
Mhm.
It'll be fine. And then it just kept happening.
Yep. And let me tell you, I think I know why the Oilers were unable to complete the historic comeback.
Why is
and,
that?
And that is because of the 32 Thoughts title. They titled 32 Thoughts the podcast after Game 6. They titled that podcast "They Did It," but they didn't do it.
They hadn't done
They
shit
hadn't done
yet.
it. You can't title it that. Come on.
If they said they did it almost in parentheses, that would have said
They have almost done it. Yeah. But
Or
that was
they're almost there or something. Yeah, no.
Yeah,
they
yeah.
did it. God, come on now. Come on, Freege.
Yep.
Come
That was
on,
the jinx.
Merrick.
That was the jinx right there.
oh
Well,
but in
there we go.
actuality,
We know it now.
in actuality, it was just the Panthers just decided to finally play like how they were capable.
Yeah.
Although I think we were like messaging it in the group back and forth the night of, did we all watch the last game, right?
Oh yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was Florida being their usual opportunistic selves off the rush for the first 2 periods, and then the third period they just crawled into a shell. And as Paul Maurice so eloquently put it, he was like, "I think we iced it about 75 times," and there we go.
Yeah, I mean that's how you do it. That's how you do it. And the opportune moments off the rush, that's just what they do because they did the same thing in the Lightning series. I hated it because they're penned in their own end, getting outplayed for like 5 minutes straight, and then they come down and get one singular shot off the rush and it just goes in. It's part
Well, that's
luck,
literally
part just
how
good
that's
shooting.
how that game-winning goal happened. I'm pretty
exactly.
sure
It was exactly it.
They were in the zone for like 2.5 minutes, and then they get a lucky like possession, and then just turn it up ice and immediately goal.
That's exactly what it was. And I told Danielle, I was like, Danielle, it's ridiculous. I don't understand it. Like whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. But it was Sam Reinhart.
They know how they need to play.
I guess they do. I guess
they
do.
are aware of how to play and win as them.
Yeah, Bobrovsky. That's how they play.
Yeah.
Man. Whatever. They
Good on
won
'em.
it. They won it. Yep.
Avoided becoming
Good for them.
the worst embarrassment
Yeah.
in hockey history.
Oh man, I wanted it so bad.
So I guess for like people who haven't been watching, I know we all watched the last game, but the Panthers were up 3-0 in that series, and the what was at stake was the Oilers took it to Game 7. The Oilers won 3 straight, and either the Florida Panthers would win their first Stanley Cup in franchise history, or the Edmonton Oilers would become the first team since 1942, I believe, to complete
Yeah, 42.
a
46.
reverse in the Stanley Cup Final. And as we know, the Panthers were able to hang on and win it for their first Stanley Cup in franchise history.
Yep.
And good on 'em.
When did they come in? 93 or something?
94, I
94?
believe.
Yeah.
So
believe.
30. Oh yeah, 30 years because it's their 30-year anniversary. It was their 30-year
Weirdly
anniversary
enough,
this year.
this is, you might not all remember it. I mean, there was obviously last year's Cup Final, but this was their third Cup Final appearance because they did one
96.
in '96 as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Indeed. Yeah, I was hoping they would choke it away because, you know.
And that'd be hilarious. You'd be like,
Yeah, that's what I wanted.
Yeah, no love lost between the Florida teams there.
No, there's not. But hey, good for them. I will say, I don't want to crap on them too much, but I will say their cup celebration not quite the same as the Lightning. not
They didn't
not
go
qu-
as hard.
Not quite. Not as they're not. They don't have. They're not. I don't think they're doing a boat parade. They're doing like a regular parade, and
Yeah.
just I've seen like the videos. There, it's like minuscule amount of people there
There
compared to
was-
the Lightning.
There was a cool one of them dumping a drink to a fan off the
That was cool.
balcony or like the second floor of a bar.
I saw that. Yeah,
That was
that was
funny.
cool. That was pretty cool. Imagine
Uh,
being that guy, face full of beer out of the Stanley Cup. He can
Oh, I would
say
have-
something that none of his buddies can say.
Yeah,
I drank out of the
beer
Stanley
out
Cup.
of the cup.
Yeah,
Like I'll get soaked in and be like, I'll ruin a shirt for that. Yeah.
yeah, hell yeah, I would do that too.
So actually, there was something that I really wanted to ask you guys about. I was curious. I'll offer my thoughts first. It's regarding the Stanley Cup Final. So the Conn Smythe gets awarded to the playoffs MVP, right? And they gave it to Connor McDavid. And personally, from my approach, it's not that I think Connor didn't deserve it, but Alexander Barkov played such great defensive hockey all playoffs and helped shut Connor McDavid down in game 6 and 7. And I almost thought, like, if the NHL makes Connor McDavid, who only wants one trophy, have to come out and get that Conn Smythe, that's such like a kick to the teeth because he doesn't care about that. But then on the other, it's like, well, he also is on a list with Wayne Gretzky and Mario Lemieux in terms of playoff points. So he probably might. So I just wanted to hear your thoughts on that.
I mean, if there was gonna be a time where this was the first losing team player gets the Conn Smythe we've had since 2003, I think. And if there was ever gonna be a situation, it'd be something like this. Like he literally did break Gretzky records in this playoff stretch. Like, I'm not mad at it, and it's fine.
I think it's okay. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like if I was a voter, I would have probably thrown it to one of the Panthers players. Because not only, like, I know it's entirety of the playoffs, but, like, you look at that final, and I think he had 8 points in the final, and they were all in 2 games.
Yeah.
He had 2 4-point games in a row. Incredible. But like the first
And that
3
was
games
what
he
brought
did
them
nothing.
back into the series.
Yeah.
But then the last couple games of the series, he
Like
didn't-
first 3
didn't
games
have
he did nothing, and then like the last 2 games I think he had nothing. He didn't even have a shot in
Yeah.
game 6. Like, I don't know. Like, I know it's the entirety of the playoffs and he broke a Gretzky record, but I probably would have, my vote would have probably been for Barkov. But that's just me. That's just me.
That makes sense too.
Where do you guys come down on him not coming out to accept the trophy?
That's fine.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Anyone
Like
who's like,
he's the captain of that team. He needs to be like with
the
the guys
team?
in that room.
Yeah.
But what is he gonna do? He's like, oh hey guys, I know we're all devastated, and this is the worst moment we've had this season, but I need to go get my trophy.
I gotta get a trophy for carrying your asses here.
Yeah. Like, I also I don't think he cares. I mean,
No.
I'm sure in some degree, like he's like, okay, it's cool that I got to order this, but like
Eventually,
he doesn't want that.
Not 5 minutes after losing Game 7 by 1 goal.
Yeah.
I don't blame him at all for that.
Yeah.
And they I think they talked about this on SDPN, like when Jaguar won the trophy, when the Ducks lost in the Stanley Cup Final in what, like 2003 or something.
Yeah.
Like, to accept the trophy, and he was talking about how when he went back into the locker room with it, like it's not like he walked in with the Conn Smythe and everyone was like, "Oh, yo, you won the," like no one noticed the trophy, and
Yeah.
like what was sad, they're packing up their gear and they're like, so it did not matter if Connor McDavid went and got that trophy. It really didn't.
No, it did not. So we had the Stanley Cup. We've covered that. First of all, how have you guys been? We were talking about 2 weeks, 3 weeks. What's going on? What's been going on with you guys?
Benny, would you like to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first because it's not much. Mostly just been working stuff. Adult life. That's fun. Although House of the Dragon is doing new episodes again, and I've been having a lot of fun doing like watch parties with some of my nerd friends because we love the Game of Thrones show and then are watching that now. But other than that, it's just kind of been life,
Cool.
Nice.
What about you,
Good,
Rick?
though.
How's the apartment hunt going?
Going pretty well. Again, kind of just going out some certain spots right now. And it is June 30th, so July is when we're going to be like actually like finalizing some sort of apartment. But in terms of weekends and stuff, June is like a huge birthday month for people in my family. Lots of June birthdays, and Caroline's birthday is also in June. It's June 23rd. So 2 weeks ago, was Caroline and I have been dating for 4 years, so we went out to Manhattan.
Damn.
Dinner. It was really cool. And then last weekend, I was trying to plan this. It was craziness, and this is why I didn't get back to you guys. On Sunday, I had a surprise party for Caroline, for her birthday at my house, which was really cool.
Oh,
So I was
nice.
getting that together, and like all of Caroline's friends were there. They all chipped in. It was a really, really great time. So very, very thankful for that. But it was awesome. So that's pretty much what I've been up to. And then other than that, yeah, just work.
Cool.
It is nice. I have a short week this week because of 4th of July. It falls on a Thursday, so I'm very excited.
Oh, very nice. Do you not have the Friday either?
I am off Fridays.
Oh, 3-day
Damn.
week.
Yep.
Dang, well done.
There you go.
Very nice.
Thanks. Oh, and the other thing. Sorry, one more thing. I had a work softball game on
Oh
Friday.
yeah, how'd that go?
It was great. I played softball for the first time in like 15 years. It felt like.
Did you just absolutely crank a dinger?
You better have.
I did. I actually hit a dinger, not over the fence, but the bases were loaded, and I got a triple. I drove in 3 runs.
Oh, hell yeah.
Shit. Fuck. There you go.
Well done.
I will say it was fun playing with work people because obviously like I'm 27 and this is a softball game with like 40 to 60-year-olds. Like
Oh.
like when I just hit it, and I think someone missed it in the outfield. I'm like they just missed it, and I'm like, all right, I'll just running. But it's fun. It wasn't like crazy competitive.
That's funny though.
Nice.
Damn. You just have such an advantage just from age alone.
I will say this is pretty funny. The catcher on the other team had an Islanders hat on. I had no idea who he was because my company is like I don't know everyone at the game.
Right.
But when I got up, obviously I'm not the biggest guy, so he's like, this guy isn't gonna hit it out of the infield. And he had an Islanders hat, so I turned to him. I'm like, dude, I'm an Islanders fan. Can you would you stop chirping me? If he's like, oh, actually, yeah, no, that's pretty cool. Let me try to avoid chirps by also.
From your own fan base.
Yeah.
And then I hit a triple though.
Nice.
Yeah, that must have felt good.
How's that for you?
That's it with me. Mike, How have you been?
Good. Yeah, just doing my work and waiting to see what the fuck the team is gonna look like next year. I don't.
Because
Who knows? At this point, I don't know.
do
We're
we
gonna
want
get
to
to that
pivot
later.
into team talk then, or
We're gonna get to that a little bit later.
okay?
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I've just been chilling out, pretty much. We have not gone to the beach in a couple weeks because we've been having rainy days on the weekend, unfortunately. But yeah, pretty good. We're gonna take a break in probably, I'm gonna guess, 2 minutes, because first I just want to go over the end of the season NHL awards.
Yeah.
So here's who got the awards. The Calder goes to Bedard, no shocker there. The Norris goes to Quinn Hughes, no shocker there. The Vezina goes to Hellebuck, no shocker there because it's a regular season trophy. And
Just a little shade there.
And the Hart goes to Nathan McKinnon. Not a big shocker. I think there's plenty of people who probably rightfully think, myself included, think it should have gone to Kucherov. But this is more of a legacy, like, you have not gotten one, so here you go. And we saw that with Fleury.
It's not like McKinnon was like, if you voted for him, that's out of the question. Like, that also makes sense. There was a few guys where it was like Kucherov, McDavid, McKinnon. They all sort of made sense. Although Kucherov, yeah,
Kucherov had he factored into like 54% of the Lightning's goals or something like that.
He was
ridiculous.
the Lightning offense. He was the Tampa Bay Lightning offense.
And 100 assists, like it. Yeah. This was Kucherov's, and they just gave it to McKinnon. McKinnon had a great year too, but I'm sorry, Kucherov was the MVP. I'm just gonna. I'll say that for me.
I'm just gonna put my 2 cents in here without lingering on this too long. But yeah, Kucherov. The fact that the Lightning made the playoffs, and you look at Kucherov's numbers and how many goals he factored in, like it. Yeah, dude, that is the definition of MVP. Like. The MVP.
I mean, it's not even just like 100 assists. He had 44 goals.
It's really good.
As well. Like,
yeah,
like he did.
Yeah,
like it was insane, dude. He had an insane year. And then that guy was like talking crap to him about Russia or whatever he was doing in the fan.
That was
stupid.
That was weird. I don't know why they brought him in as host. He's like a guy on TikTok who's like got big with like his impressions. Like the biggest one was his Jeff Goldblum impression, and then he got kind of like semi-internet famous, but not really.
Okay, can we? I hate the internet. Can I just throw that out there?
The NHL was just trying to be like, oh, let's do the fun thing.
They
miscalculated. They miscalculated.
I get that, but yeah, no, you don't know.
It was bad. It was bad. It wasn't good.
Whatever. Can I just say that it's way too easy to become famous on the internet? It's way too easy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like famous, but then it's like also not really. It's like you can become talked about for like a month on Twitter sometimes, and then yes and no. But
let me pivot, because I see enough stupid ass videos that Danielle's watching on Instagram Reels that are it's like this stupid thing where like somebody tapes a chicken, like a rubber chicken. They tape a bunch of them to a tire and then drive, so it's just loud as shit. And the video's got like multi-millions of views, and I'm like, this guy is getting serious money for just doing stupid shit. like what is this?
AL's got to work on her algorithm there. I ain't getting anything like that. Come on now.
I just whatever. I don't whatever. Doesn't matter.
I mean, no, there's a lot of dumb shit. Instagram Reels especially is it's a place.
Yeah.
It's a place.
Yeah, whatever.
That's a perfect Betty.
Okay. So, take a little break here, then we're going to come back. We're going to talk about team talk. Benny was splooging in his pants about the Canadians about, about the Canadians
so
draft.
well. It went
Apparently
so
they're
well.
back. They are back apparently, but we're gonna get into that in just a few minutes. Eric's gonna be able to be a mime for that. They haven't done anything. They did that one pick straight, and that's it.
I have two things to talk about. One is involving Anders Lee, and one is involving. That's it.
All right. There we go. We will we'll hear about that in just a second.
And we are back, ready to talk about our teams after we have the first 2 days draft, both days of the draft. That's all there is. Those are done now. Free agency tomorrow, so this is going to be pretty quickly outdated. But
Yes.
with the Habs, at least, it is the most peaceful and united I have ever seen Habs Twitter in a very long time.
That's when you know.
Because they, in the first round, what had often been in a lot of the pre-draft rankings ranked as like the second best skater, Ivan Demidov falls to 5, and this year the Habs take the skilled Russian forward, unlike last year, which just fucking pumped about. He seems like he's gonna be great. Probably will be a couple years before he actually is over here and playing, because they got to get the situation sorted out with his team in Russia. But sooner rather than later, super pumped about that. Later on in the first round at 21, a pick they had traded a couple picks to trade up for with LA. They take a guy named Michael Hage, which I don't know shit about prospects before they get drafted. I don't watch prospects all the time. But after he was drafted, comes to find out that was pretty highly ranked on a lot of people's lists. He had a really good end of the year, and he grew up a Canadiens fan because he grew up in Ontario but had parents from Montreal, and he was a Canadiens fan. And unfortunately, his dad passed away like a year before, but he then gets drafted by his childhood team and his dad's team, and it was just a really nice story.
Yeah, man.
And from all accounts, he also is apparently pretty good. I don't know. I don't watch these guys. None of us watch. Like, that's the thing. That's the thing I hate, is when people like immediately become like, they went for this guy at 45th instead of this guy. I'm like, you don't fucking know shit about either of those dudes. What are you talking about? But from all accounts, from like when I was like looking at all the prospect guys that I follow on Twitter, like the guys who do actually spend all of their year watching all of these people, they were all giving the Habs very high marks on the first round. So I took that as a good sign. And then on day 2, they had a really fun time and just made it that much more fun by drafting Saku Koivu's son in the third round, which I thought was cool as hell.
Nice.
And from same kind of thing where I was looking at like what the usual prospect draft guides were saying about him, and they were like, they might have taken him about 15 or 20 picks too early based on what I would have done, but it was a third round pick, and to get your former captain's son, like, that's cool. Like, it's not the worst thing to, and that's what I'm going with. It's cool as hell that they use a third rounder, which is all right enough on the chance that, who knows, maybe we'll have a second Koivu generation in Montreal, and that'll be cool. Yeah. That'll be fun, I think. So it's been a really nice weekend, honestly. All fantastic vibes coming out of the Habs draft.
Dude, look at Kent go.
Look at Kent go. Oh, and I feel I can't not say this. I got to mention it. They had to read off their pick of Ivan Demidov. Kent goes up to the mic and he's like, and to announce our pick, I think he said like we have the incomparable Celine Dion, and Celine Dion comes out from the back like fucking wrestling entrance, like comes in and reads the pick, and she had a very dramatic reading of it too. Like she had a 2 or 3 pauses in there. She was like, the Montreal Canadiens are proud to select Ivan Demidov.
Yeah, I heard the clip of it.
It was great. So fantastic vibes. And then other than that, the last thing I'll say is pre-draft media availability. Jeff Gordon did it, and he said, like somebody asked him about what if the Habs are going to maybe make any plays in free agency this year because they haven't really in the last couple of years. And Jeff Gorton was like, well, we have our guys we know we're going to target, and then come July 1st, it'll just be to see if they're interested, which on its face is like, okay, that's just, yes, you sign people on July 1st. But like he said it in such a way that it makes it sound like they actually have more substantial plans this year. At least that was my read on it. Like they have plans to do a little more than they had the last couple of years in free agency where they didn't really spend anything. And now it's just up to see if the players also want to. So I'm intrigued to see who that might be. Only for me to then see tomorrow it's like some fourth fucking liner and
Yep.
like sixth defenseman that could also just be that. But I'm interested. Yeah, good vibes with the Habs.
All right. Good
Nice.
enough. How are the vibes on the island?
I mean, yeah, they're just the same old Islander vibes. Just not much happening. I mean, I guess the vibes are always high in the sense that there's always passion in the fan base, even when we're all sad and angry that the Islanders come up short or don't do much in terms of trades and stuff. But they did select Cole Eiserman.
I was going to bring that up.
Yeah,
I was kind of hoping he was going to fall to the next pick that the Habs had, but he didn't.
Yeah, he was ranked a bit higher initially in the drafts, and he fell down, and the Islanders ended up taking him. Oh my god, and I should know this. They took him 15th overall.
No, it was. I think it was 20th.
20th? Okay, yeah, it wasn't
Wow.
it wasn't that high. But anyway, a lot of Islander fans are super pumped about that. I mean, I'm pretty excited about that considering like seeing his play. I remember seeing him play.
20th.
It was 20th.
Yeah.
I remember seeing him
Because the
play.
Habs had 21st, and it was the one before. That's why I was like,
Okay.
Yeah.
He played for
play.
He played for Team USA's like national team at World Juniors or whatever. And I remember I'm like, oh my god, I remember that name, Eiserman. And I remember him being pretty good. That was a pretty good USA.
Yeah, he's so good that he broke the goal total record that Cole Caulfield held with the U.S. National Development Team program. I think I got the order of that wrong. Anyway,
U.S. Development Program Team.
Yes.
I don't know.
So I was like, he's a hell of a goal scorer. So yeah,
Oh.
he should be interesting.
If you can score 60 goals a year and you play for the Islanders, that brings you down to 30, and then you just have also like it's 30 max based on 30 years at net about 20.
Oh,
But
35 if you're feeling freaky,
But I know, yeah, I'm obviously very excited about that. And then other than that, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know any of the other draft picks that the Islanders took. I wasn't really paying too much attention to it, but again, because they don't have picks like super high.
Yeah.
But it was kind of funny. I think Anders Lee came up to announce the Cole Eiserman pick, and I remember you guys follow NHL Discussion.
Yeah.
I remember NHL Discussion made a video of it, and it was the caption was like, Anders Lee announces the Islanders' 20th overall pick, and then in all caps, fully unbuttoned. And for some reason,
he was showing some chest. He was feeling himself.
Yeah. But
I gotta see that.
That was pretty funny. That was pretty funny. And listen, Anders Lee's he's a big dude, so like it worked. Like if you're just a big jack dude, like you could
Yeah.
But that was pretty funny. But that's it. That's it in Islanders land over here. So not much to report.
Dang it, there's no pictures.
Oh, you? I could send it to you.
Oh, here it is. Wait, here it is.
You got it.
Dang, yeah, look at that. He's been manscaping as well.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah. So that's pretty much what I expected from the Islanders. They're just kind of they do their draft picks, but no trades.
Not
And you'll
yet.
find out about all of their contract signings in like 2 months, like right before training camp. You'll find out who's on the team.
We'll talk real quick about the Senators. Nick is not here, but we can still talk about it. I think the only big thing they've done is the Ullmark deal. So they are continuing to cover their eyes when it comes to their defense and put all the blame on the goaltender. And so they have, and honestly, but this is a good move anyway, because Ullmark is a better goaltender by far. It's just funny that they keep being like, it's the goalie, just get a new goalie, get another goalie, and it's like, guys, it might not be just the goalie.
Which, I mean, hey, free agency doesn't open till tomorrow. They may have other plans in that regard. We'll have to wait and see on that. But I like it what they did on their end.
Yeah, it's a good deal.
Korpisalo did not work out, and the problem is, and I think this was brought up on SDP as well. They run the risk of this just being the DeBrincat trade all over again, because he's only signed for another year, and there's I don't know. I don't know how Linus Ullmark feels about Ottawa. So hopefully he likes it for their sake anyway. If and we'll want to stick around, but that'll be yet to be seen.
Yes.
And yes, it will be interesting if they do just run it back with the decor, and then maybe it turns out Ullmark has a tougher time when there's no defensive from him. We'll see.
Yep.
Also, they got Travis Green as a coach.
Yeah.
Which I don't know how I feel about that.
I don't even know where was he last? New Jersey?
He went from Vancouver, got fired. He was the one who got fired before
Boudreau?
What's his face?
Boudreau.
Yeah, he was the one before Boudreau, and then Boudreau to Tocchet. So he had some dark times in Vancouver, and then he was in New Jersey as an assistant, I believe. And then when Lindy Ruff got fired partway through this year, was an interim head coach, which he then departed to go to Ottawa.
All right.
All
right then. It'll be interesting to see. They also have people getting hurt all the time. So
they do.
Who knows?
Josh Norris can't stay healthy.
No,
it's bad.
Good, and he's good too. It sucks.
Yeah.
We will have to wait and see. But if you just look at the trade itself, not bad. The retaining, it was a 4x4, so I think they're retaining $1 million bucks. They're paying $1 million a year to Korpisalo to play for Boston. So that kind of sucks.
Dorian really did some stuff on the way out there.
Yeah.
I know that feeling. But some of those deals he signed, well, just because there's so many no moves. I think Hamonic has a no move.
Yeah,
for some reason.
I don't know if at one point those were used to get the AAV lower,
or to get people to come to Ottawa,
or to get people to just go to Ottawa. But there's a lot of those.
It's just
a lot of those floating around.
We'll see how that goes.
Yes, we will. All right, gents. On to the main event for me, I should say.
Well, I mean, for this weekend, honestly, they were I feel like they were the biggest newsmakers. In terms of trades and shit.
Okay, so going into the last couple weeks, the Tampa Bay Lightning had not a lot of cap space, and a lot of people that they want to sign, most notably the captain, Steven Stamkos. And he's still not signed. We are less than 24 hours away from free agency, and he's going to go to market. He will be testing the market to see what's up.
I'd say all comments I've seen from both his agent and Julien Brisebois have been, along those lines, where he's going
to market.
Gone.
It doesn't necessarily mean he's gone, because who knows? He goes out and sees what's available, what teams, what situations, and then maybe he decides.
That is exactly what happened last time.
That is what happened last time. So Bolts Nation is hoping for a repeat. We'll just say that. We'll see.
This doesn't feel quite as nice as last time, though. Last time kind of felt like they were had a good relationship, but he was like, but this is my first big chance to see what it's out there. So I just want to do that. But then he was like, nah, I don't want any of that. I'll just go back to Tampa. And it was smart. You did a good 2 cups.
2 cups. Yep.
But this time, I don't know.
It's definitely different, and I just don't understand it. I don't understand it from Brisebois' point of view. So the reports were that the initial offering to Stamkos was 8 times $3 million, which is fucking low.
Yeah.
Even at 8 years, that's so low. And then more reports came in that all he was looking for was 8 years, somewhere in between 4 and 5 million. And I'm like, dude, you can't find $1.5 million somewhere.
Yeah.
A year. You can't find that somewhere. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. And then yesterday, the news comes in that Sergachev's out and Jeannot's out. I'm like, okay, they cleared up 10, 11 million cap space, whatever it was. I'm like, all right, there we go. They got their space now. They can easily give him his 4.5 million per year. And nope, they have a discussion after these trades. JBB and his agent, they have a discussion, and JBB says, nope, the offer is still the same. So it's if I'm Stamkos, I'm going somewhere else, dude. This is ridiculous. Yeah. I cannot believe the amount of disrespect that's being shown to the captain right now. I cannot believe it. And on top of everything, they come out and they're working on a Hedman extension. On top of everything, they're going to work on a Hedman extension 1 year out, something they didn't do with Stamkos twice now.
So I guess that tells you that they don't view him as necessary anymore.
They don't. We know that. We already knew that they don't. But
yeah,
I don't know, 40 goals.
And the point that I was listening to the hockey guys video on this was they're viewing it as, because what we were gonna mention. Did we mention the trading right for the signing rights of Jake Gensel yet?
We have not.
Well, okay. Did that come out today? I think
that was just today.
News.
That was just today.
Yeah. Where they trade for the signing rights of Jake Gensel, and the rationale that hockey guy was saying is like, yeah, it might make more sense to invest in a long-term deal in a 28-year-old as opposed to, what is Stamkos, 34,
he's
35? He's
going to be 34. He's going to play as a 34-year-old next year, or he is 34 right now. I'm not actually sure.
Somewhere around there, anyway.
Yeah, it makes sense. But I've already talked about this. If there's 2 ways to look at it, there's the business, the pure business side, which is if you don't sign him for, if you don't sign him at whatever you think he's valued at, like $3 million a year. If he's looking for more than that, you just let him go. That's the value side of it, and I totally understand that. And that's Vegas. That's Vegas's model right there.
Yeah.
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 But here's the problem: everybody other than Vegas fans hate Vegas. So, do you really want to follow that? I mean, I guess you'll win probably, but I don't know. I guess that's all that really matters to these guys is winning.
Which I mean, I think that is the rationale they're going with.
Makes sense.
Which it's one of those things where it's tough. Like if there was ever a player for the Tampa Bay Lightning to kind of go against good rational thought just for the sake of it, especially it would be him.
It's like 8 years times $4 million. It's not even that bad.
No.
For a 40 goal scorer. He scored 40 goals last year, guys.
Let me just put it this way. 8 times $4 million for Stamkos is in the range of what the Islanders gave Pierre Engvall. That's not bad.
How much a year is Engvall getting?
3 point something.
It's not even a bad deal. That's why. So this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that Brisebois is just playing super hardball, which is such I fuck this guy, honestly. You're gonna play hardball.
I'm inclined to believe. I think he's just kind of moved on at this point. I don't think you trade for the signing rights of Jake Gensel if you haven't just kind of already. Well,
they can fit Jake Gensel and a 4.5 $4.5 million Stamkos. I'm fairly certain they can fit that together.
Yeah. Maybe.
I'm thinking he's just waiting and hoping that Stamkos comes back and says, "Sure, I'll take 3," and then if not, then yeah, he's gone. Or maybe Stamkos comes back and then JBB blinks and says, "Okay, we'll give you 4.5 or 4."
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see. I don't like it, but yeah, it's at this point it looks pretty likely that we're gonna see Stamkos in some different colors. Hopefully, some different colors. Because if he goes to the Leafs, I'm gonna lose my shit.
I don't think they could swing that even if they wanted to.
Probably not.
Because
So
the only reason you'd be going elsewhere is be going for more money or a better like deal. Or I mean, I guess it could be situation too.
Chance to win.
Yeah.
Shit, dude. Shit. Well, I mean, if you look. I mean, the Lightning were not good this year, but if you look to next year and what their roster is likely going to be even without Stamkos. The Atlantic's really good though.
Does he look at it though and is like, why are we trading away Mikhail Sergachev? Why are we maybe that doesn't help things exactly.
Good question.
And also Ryan McDonough coming into this a couple weeks ago being like, I'm fucking pumped. I was texting Stammer, and then now I don't know, how does he feel about Sergachev? That's a interesting offseason.
I'm confused as to what they're doing. I'm telling you though, if they roll into next season and that team is ass, we're gonna have a new general manager, and we should, because
I'm fully off the Julien Brisebois hype train.
I don't understand what's going on. I don't know what's going on in his brain. I don't know if it's him, or I don't know if there's just nobody's being like, dude, what are you doing? Because I mean, listen, the Sergachev deal, that was too much money for him. As much as he is a very skilled player defensively, he's got holes. Yeah. So that amount of money was too much for what he brings at this point.
But that deal was also signed by Brisebois.
Signed by Brisebois. There it is. And I got to be honest, Chernak is making, I think, 5. He's over 5 million. Yeah. It's a little bit more than you'd want, for sure. Yeah. Cirelli at 7-ish, I think that's okay. Because I think he's
a center, right? He's like your defensive center.
He's a center. He's the defensive center. That's okay.
He's like your Phil Deneau guy.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's getting it's time's getting short, because you've done like 2 good things here, and that's about it.
I understand it from a freeing up money standpoint, but swapping Jeannot for a pick back is just fully admitting defeat on that one.
He owns his mistake. He's like, yeah, you know what? This didn't work, so we're gonna get this cap off of the thing and see what we can do. Yeah, it looks bad. It makes him look like an idiot. Because guess what? You're an idiot. That was a stupid fucking trade.
You know what I will say though that's interesting about it? This is how I feel about Tampa, Mike. I know you're a fan, and I am an outsider, but you know, like Boston just like has these guys on their team, and they're just good every year. Like, as long as you have a John Cooper there and like a Kucherov, like, I don't think Tampa's gonna be a competitive team. I know the Atlantic's really good, but Tampa's Tampa. But you're right, at the same time, it's like, well, you can only do that for that long. You know, you still need players to show up and play. And if Tampa's defense just absolutely sucks next year and Vasilevsky gets hurt or something like that, that's on you, Brisebois. Like, it's kind of hard. I mean, when I think about Tampa Bay, having a Stamkos, Point, Kucherov, and a Gensel, that sounds pretty damn good to me. That's great, but that's not something that's guaranteed.
That's like best case scenario.
Yeah, exactly. based on how Brisebois handled all this, to me at least, that would be kind of weird to me. Like, your captain, what do you think about the Tampa Bay Lightning? Maybe you think about like St. Louis and LeCalvier, but it's Stamkos. You think it's Stamkos. Yeah, that's who you think. I don't know. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I think he's pretty firmly established that over the last few 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, he
Like
leads.
he is the Tampa Bay Lightning. Like
he leads them in every stat except for like assists, I think. So
Wait,
like every single stat, like power play, even strength, all yada yada, points, like everything. All right, we didn't quite. Yeah.
No. I was just gonna say my last question. If Stamkos was an Islander, would you enjoy that? Even though I know you wouldn't because you're a Lightning fan.
No.
But would you?
Of,
Okay.
I'd be okay with it. I'd be like, yeah.
of the destinations he could go to, that
That's
would
okay.
be a less objectionable one.
Yeah. There's so if he's gonna
The
go
two
somewhere,
I'd be watching for, I would say, would be Boston and Detroit.
Yeah.
Nashville has been the big one in
Nashville,
everybody's
interesting.
Nashville. I don't hate any of those. Boston, I would hate. I would absolutely hate
Yeah.
Boston. Detroit, okay, whatever. Going back to Yzerman.
Just go see Stevie.
In Nashville, I'd be totally fine with Nashville. I might get a Nashville Stamkos jersey.
Nashville's fun. Yeah, that's a team I don't think. I mean, barring the Habs getting in a heated Stanley Cup Final with them sometime, like I've never never been a moment where I've been like, yeah, fuck Nashville. Like they're just fun.
Yeah, they're a fun team. And they could be good. I don't know. I don't know. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Anyway, well, we didn't talk about it. We went right in on the Stamkos stuff, but and we mentioned it, but Sergachev out, going to Utah.
Yeah, Utah
of all places. Utah making
some moves. Yeah.
So Sergachev, let me see. I wrote this down. Hold on. So it was Sergachev to Utah, and in came, I believe, JJ Moser, which is a defenseman. Connor Geeky, who is supposedly a very, very good young player.
Very good forward prospect.
Forward.
Yeah.
2024 7th and a 2025 2nd, I believe, is what that deal was.
Not bad.
Is what comes in for Sergachev. I mean, honestly, that's not a bad deal. But again, it's like,
especially considering that they didn't have to retain any.
They did not retain.
Didn't have to retain any. That was huge.
They did not.
I think value-wise, that was a pretty good deal.
It again is another admission of a mistake. Like this guy's cap hit's too big. We can't make this work. But that also is because another mistake admission. They bring back McDonough, and you can't fit it all in.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fucking guy.
That fucking guy.
And then they also trade Jeannot out for, I believe it was a 3rd round pick, to the Kings. So, whatever. You got to pick back.
It was 2nd round pick.
It was a 2nd rounder.
Yeah.
Well, shoot.
There you go.
Not bad.
There's something.
There you go. There's one of the 30 picks that you shipped out the door to get him. You fucking idiot.
It's crazy. You guys like talk about like what your GMs are doing, and like there's some good stuff, there's some bad stuff, and then but every time I'm like, I wish I could talk about this.
I wish I had stuff.
I could, I like at least things are like at least whether a GM is stupid or not. At the end of the day, they probably are trying to win, even if their plan is full. Like, God damn. Anyway, go on.
Yeah, that's I was thinking about that earlier. I was like, I remember like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I was like, man, the Lightning don't have any space. They can't do anything. There's nothing exciting going on with them at like free agency or anything like that. Here we are. I'd rather be the other way.
Tomorrow is going to be, I think, a bit of a shit show. There's going to be a lot of shit going down.
Yep.
Because I imagine that does go through. It's a swap it's a swap for Tampa where Stamkos going out, Gensel coming in.
Well, we didn't talk about
Stamkos
yet.
go? Yeah, we mentioned the rights, but yeah, how do you feel about that? I guess what?
Well, so first of all, it was Gensel to Tampa. Gensel's rights, I should say, to Tampa, so they can offer him the 8th year, and I think they shipped out a 3rd round pick to grab those. So you better fucking sign him. Otherwise, guess what? It's another mistake.
Also, that seems expensive
for rights.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not like a comparable player. Like the levels are different because he's a lot older and it's a different position. But For Chris Tanev's rights, Toronto paid a 7th rounder.
Listen, Chris Tanev is a great defenseman, but that's
old.
not the same. Yeah, he's
he's
very
old.
old, and like you're talking about a defensive defenseman versus a scoring right winger who is on the tail end of his prime.
The gap for that between us is
yeah,
a 7th to a 3rd, I guess.
I mean, it's not. I don't know. Shit. I mean,
it's not that bad.
Is it 7 years? How old's Tanev?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I mean, it's a little more than you'd want, especially for rights. But I mean, who knows if they can sign him to?
If they sign him
to an 8 year, yeah, then sure, it's probably worth it. Gensel's a great player, but who knows?
We're talking about tomorrow, right? I don't know, Mike, if you have this written down. If you want to talk about any buyouts that have happened recently, because I think that's kind of important to touch on some players.
We can get to that. We can do a little break and then get to that when we talk about trades and other free agents.
Excellent.
If you'd like to do that, because there are some buyouts happening.
Yes, there are.
But yeah,
I just have the NHL discussion page on Instagram up.
There you go. NHL. It's not even your page. It's the
the NHL discussion page on Instagram is like
it's great.
It has the entire weekend.
It's great. Yeah,
it's perfect.
Yeah. Yep. All right. So yeah, next up, trades, free agents, upcoming free agents, and some potential buyouts. All ahead on the Duster Squad podcast. Dun, 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 dun.
Welcome back to the Duster Squad podcast. We are now going to talk about the free agent frenzy, and we're going to start off with some buyouts here. So, the first one that I want to bring up, Nate Schmidt, the Winnipeg Jets have bought him out. And you guys know Nate Schmidt, relatively capable defenseman, has
he's all right.
Bit of the offensive, side of his game is what teams are looking for, kind of an offensive defenseman. But he has one more season under contract at $5.95 million, and the cap hit will be 2.7 for Winnipeg this next year, and then the year after that, 1.6 million. So, what teams do you guys think Nate Schmidt could possibly end up on?
I don't know.
Yeah,
he could end. He feels like a guy who could end up literally anywhere.
He
just is like a guy that. Maybe Utah gets another defenseman because they got Sergachev and then Marino in separate trades. Maybe they're gonna fully redo their whole decor. Which honestly, those three would be a decent start.
That's not bad.
But
here's what I think. Possibly, this is for you, Nick. Maybe Ottawa. What if Ottawa used a guy?
They could definitely use a guy like him.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if he'd be the answer, but he would be better than some of the guys. Yeah.
Yeah, that's factual.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not bad. And he's in Canada, so he obviously is not averse to Canadian teams as some players seem to be.
Yeah, he already did Winnipeg. So.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna go through this real quick. Next one, Jack Campbell. Well, that wasn't really a surprise. The Oilers have bought him out. After, his, it says here, .873 save percentage in his 5 games this season before being sent to the AHL. So he has 3 more seasons under contract at $5 million. Do you think anyone will pick him up at the NHL level?
But he was bought out.
He was bought out, so yeah, that cap hit doesn't mean anything anymore. So he's just a free agent now.
Okay.
I mean, somebody might sign him as a third option.
I feel so bad for that guy.
I mean, yeah, but he also fucking sucked.
I mean, he sucked out loud, yeah. But it's such a mental thing. Yeah. It's just unfortunate that he can't get that straightened out.
Yeah, because there's clearly something there because he had enough. He showed enough that there's something there, but I don't know. I'll be interested to see if he goes somewhere, gets a backup role somewhere, and just kind of can sort of get back at it a little bit. I don't know.
Trying to think of teams that might need a backup goaltender. like a very cheap backup goaltender. Like nothing is coming.
Because
to my
he's
brain.
not he's not gonna get. He'll get signed for like maybe a mil and a half.
I don't know what Dallas's situation
Like-
is, but like Scott Wedgwood, is
Eh.
he better than Scott Wedgwood?
No, I don't think so.
He's younger, right? Or is that
Yeah,
just
he's-
my brain?
I don't know. I think he is, but not.
Not by
Campbell's
that.
32. He's not young.
Oh wow, he broke in late breaker.
I think it's going to take a little while for him to find
Montreal.
a home this summer. No. No. But that'll be interesting. I don't blame Edmonton for that. Yeah.
They do the same thing with.
They re-upped Picard. No, why does it Picard? Pickard. They re-upped Pickard the other day.
Jean-Luc.
So, and I mean, I know they lost, but Skinner seemed to establish himself there as the playoffs went on.
I feel like that's a bit ballsy.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, it is.
He never once went like 5 games in a row with like a good performance. I feel
Right.
I mean, and like that's how it is. You're gonna have
In the
off
playoffs
games.
anyway, yeah.
You're gonna have off games, but like, I don't know. I would be nervous if I was going into the season and that's my number one guy. But I
Yeah.
guess
Alright,
if
I mean,
Pickard's
that's
good
what they
enough to
did most of
tandem
this
it, then-
year, and
Yeah,
They did fine in the
they
regular
made it. I
season.
guess they made it. I guess.
This is the perfect transition. Ben, you said Skinner, so perfect.
We got another Skinner.
Jeff Skinner of the Buffalo Sabres. Is that Danielle's favorite player on the Sabres?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh.
Yep. Unfortunately, I
Oh,
don't know if
no.
she knows yet. Dale.
That's what I was. Yeah.
You see the Sabres bought out Jeff Skinner, so he's out of there. Did you see the Sabres bought out Jeff Skinner, so he's out of there? It's unfortunate.
Got the
In the-
real-time reaction.
We're gonna say what teams we think Jeff Skinner will go to, and in the comments, Danielle can also say what team that she thinks Jeff Skinner's gonna go.
I see.
A lot of teams are gonna want him.
Yeah, because isn't he not that far removed from like a pretty decent year? Like, didn't he have like
2 years ago. The thing with Jeff Skinner is he's a really good player, but $9 million is too much for him.
Yeah.
It is a lot of money.
That's the only problem. The only problem with that player was the cap hit. That was
He
literally
had an
the only
82
problem.
point season.
Yeah, point per game. You that at like $6 million, you're like, oh my god. But he was
so
at 9. So
I guess the question to me is, like, what does the spread look like on that for like the?
that's a good question.
Is it?
Hold on.
Because I think
Let me have a look.
I want to see his buyout.
The
Jeff Skinner.
like you want to see how much it's hitting the cap?
Yeah,
couple years?
because like, yes,
Gotta be
9
a
is
lot.
a bit much, but like, is his like $6 million player worth still getting paid $9 million? Is it worth more to have that than to have nothing for like whatever the cap hit?
Oh
is?
yeah. I see what you're saying.
Because
Hunter
see.
Skinner was signed for 1 year. There you go. In the Blues.
Hey.
All right, yeah, Puckpedia is gonna have to figure this out because all I want to do is see this buyout, and I don't know how to see it.
it's gonna be a 2.4 million cap hit every year,
Oh.
according to Cap Friendly.
So you're gaining 7 million
Yeah,
per. So that's not bad.
Yeah. That's not
yeah.
You don't love it, but it's not terrible. You're saving 7 million in cap space.
And if you're the Sabres, like, you're the Sabres, so that's not the worst thing that could happen.
yeah.
Just say it.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay,
Oh, never mind.
so this is oof. So, that was like the calculator. It was showing like, how it would be spread. So what actually happened? I just found it. Buyout history, date June 29th. Yeah, okay. So for next season, it'll be a 1.4 million cap hit. The season after, it'll be a 4.4 million cap hit. The season After, it'll be a 6.4 million cap hit, and then the last 3, it'll be 2.4. Because I remembered somebody talking about this. I remembered somebody talking about this over the weekend, being like, "That's gonna really hurt for a couple of those years." And yes, it will. For 2025-26, it'll be 4.4, and 2026-27, it'll be 6.4.
That is
Terrible.
terrible. Yep.
As opposed to just having the last 3 years of that contract run out and still getting a decent player.
Yeah, that's stupid. I gotta say, that's a stupid choice because yeah, it would have been 3 years at 9 million, so it would have been tight those 3 years.
But
then it's
done.
0, and now it's
The cap
that's
just went up.
so stupid. That's really stupid. Now after the original deal would have been done, it's still going to cost you $2.5 million bucks
for
on the
3
cap.
more years.
Yeah, for an
when it
extra
would've
3
just
years.
been done.
That's so stupid.
And if they didn't buy him out, the cap just went up this year, right? What is it now? It went
Yeah.
up.
I think it went up like 3 million, 4 million.
Yeah.
So
So proportionally, it would be getting less, and then all reports are saying like the next year it's going to be even more. So I don't know.
Oh.
This is one of those things where, like, I guess if you really want to part ways with a guy, but
Was he that bad? Shit.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, that seems real stupid to me. But
So
whatever.
they just got to get past 2026, 2027, and then it'll only be 2.4 a year. Or just go super hard this year because it's only a 1.4 this year.
Yeah, but they're not like how close are they?
No.
Like they're not like, oh gosh, Buffalo.
It seems like an interesting choice.
Oh dear, Buffalo.
Dude,
Kevin
if the Leafs are right there when they talk about exiting the first round finally, then the Sabres are right there too. I'm just gonna go off of this.
Well, see, people talked about that, Eric, because it was bullshit.
I
When
know.
John Tavares said it.
I got a Leafs digging.
So to answer your question, Jeff Skinner will go to the Florida Panthers and win a Stanley Cup.
That's actually, I could see that.
Or maybe he'll go to
Or
Tampa, dude. Cheap Tampa Bay guy.
It could be Florida's
We'll take him.
latest Buffalo Sabres reclamation project.
Yep.
Okay, how about this, guys? How about Jeff Skinner returns to Carolina? They finally get past their playoff struggles.
Oh, that would be sick.
They finally get past their playoff struggles with the guy who never has been in the playoffs.
Yep.
I would love that, dude. That's awesome. That would be so awesome.
Well, if
you know what,
Gensel's gone. If Gensel's gone, they'll have some money.
They will have some money. But like, what's he asking for?
4, 5.
4 or 5.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
He
not
did
worth
have an
much more than that.
82-point season the season before this. Like,
Factual.
he
That's factual.
clearly is okay at hockey still.
It was just because he had that 1 or 2 years, like around 2020, that were just awful. like 40 points.
I don't know. That's an
It'll be
interesting one to me.
Yeah. I would love for the Lightning to grab him, but if he actually wants like $4 million, then that's a no. That's just a no. Carolina though, totally.
Yeah,
they could totally snag him up. So there was just a couple other trades that I wanted to talk about. A little big for the league, like big change for the league. We'll start with the ones that we can talk about real quick, and then we'll go to the Dubois trade because we all know. We'll just be saying the same shit. But New Jersey wanted Markstrom last year. Markstrom waived his no move or no trade or whatever to go there, and then it didn't happen. So we went in and he was mad, but here we go. Now they got him. So the Devils get Markstrom. Calgary gets Kevin Ball, I believe.
Kevin Ball, yes.
And a 2025 first. And listen to this banger, gentlemen. Markstrom's Calgary is retaining 31% of Markstrom's cap hit.
Wow.
Fairly certain.
Damn.
Yep. Lots of
that
it.
is.
So he goes down from like 6 something
Calgary's
to
really
4
just,
something.
We could probably get into this with some of the other trades, but Calgary's just fully stripping it to the studs, huh? Like
sure seems like it.
What is the plan? Anyway.
Everybody but Jonathan Huberdeau is out.
God,
just
I
because they
mean,
can't get him out.
the 10 mil a year checks probably help, but he can't be feeling great about where that team is going.
I mean, listen, I don't want to point fingers here.
But he's a part of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, like you signed for 10.5. It's 10.5 million. You signed for that
Yeah.
10.5 million. You gotta you are the guy. If you're the
Yep.
highest paid player on the team, you're the guy, and he's just not doing anything. And I know he's got barely any help, but like, shit.
It'd be interesting because he seemed to be developing some chemistry with, I think it was Igor Sharangovich
Yep.
at
Towards
the end of the
there.
year there. So we'll see
knows?
how that goes. But
Maybe he gets a
Calgary,
return.
they're in a place, that's for
They're in
sure.
a pickle. Yeah, so there's that trade. So the Devils bring in a goalie. They get their goalie finally. But again, Markstrom, he's an up and down. He's an up and down goalie. He's not.
Yeah,
He's not
he's
consistent.
been mostly up the last couple of years, though.
Very true.
And I think he'll be strong for them.
I think so too.
He'll be in a good spot, but yeah.
And then Washington actually got two players. They got Mangiapane from Calgary, another more evidence of the strip it down, as Ben says.
Yeah, which seemed like was a pretty cheap price for him. He was
Second
a 35
rounder.
goal scorer like 3 years ago.
So they got three.
What's that?
The Capitals got three players. You talked about Mangiapane first. There's another guy in there before we get to the big one, and that is Logan Thompson.
Yes,
that's right.
They did also trade for Logan Thompson to get some goalie help.
Yep.
So, which I think, with Charlie Lindgren's kind of emergence this year as a really strong goalie, Logan Thompson also really strong goalie for the last couple of years with Vegas. They honestly are in a pretty good situation in net.
Not terrible.
There's a lot worse situations you could be in, so I liked that for them because I don't think they paid much for Thompson either.
I did not see that one.
I think it was a couple picks.
Mike, well, finds that I'll tell you a story. So apparently Logan Thompson found out he was doing like an autograph thing with the Golden Knights, and then he found out, and he still stayed and did autographs with the fans because he's a man of the people.
I mean, yeah, applause for that, but like that's what you should do.
That's what you should.
Yeah.
You're out there like, be like, oh, I just got traded. Fuck you guys. See ya.
Well, speaking of that, we'll use that to transition. Speaking of players who maybe have that attitude, Pierre-Luc Dubois, he's a Washington Capital.
Yes, fourth time. The fourth team will do it. Yes. He wouldn't. So stupid, dude.
Oh, Ben, you were looking for something.
Did you find that? Did you find the what they paid? What Washington paid?
Yes, it should be right here. Vegas receives 2 draft picks. What are the picks? 3rd round pick and 2 third-round picks. 1 from this year, 1 for next year. So.
All right, not terrible.
Yeah.
Not terrible at all. The question is, they probably run. Did they do a tandem or did they do Lindgren as the starter?
They were kind of trying to do a tandem, but Kemper wasn't very good, so Lindgren got more playtime as the year went on. But I think they could very easily run a tandem with Thompson and Lindgren because Thompson's kind of used to doing the tandem thing in Vegas with Aiden Hill. So I think that's a good situation for them.
They've got choices.
I
can hear that AC cooking in the background. Do you have your AC on?
I do, but is it that loud?
Oh. No. It comes through every once in a while. It's not
okay.
So,
but the Pierre-Luc Dubois one is interesting. I think a large part of it is both teams had guys they wanted to move on from. Like it was Washington was ready to move on from Kemper, and I guess take the chance that Pierre-Luc Dubois, because there is a talented forward in there.
Yes,
but I just to see how it goes.
What is going on? What is going on? This guy, he's got such talent, and yet what was he? 4th line in the playoffs?
Yeah. By the time that rolled around, he was not getting used very high.
$8 million for a 4th liner? Come on, buddy. Do you have any pride?
Washington has a much more bigger need at forward than LA does, I think. So maybe he's just going to get used higher up the lineup just by default because they need some options and to get some more. I don't know. I think at some point he's got to realize like, okay, I can't keep doing this every place. Like I gotta get my shit together at some point if I want to make a go out of this.
Because at this point, especially because I talked about this before when before he went to LA, I was like, do the Canadians even want him? Like, why would you even want this guy? Like, again, incredible talent.
Yeah.
Terrible attitude.
Yeah.
And I'm like, do you really want this guy? Like, even if he
turns out
plays well,
I'm okay with the fact they didn't get him.
Yeah. You were excited at the time because I believe at the time you said you were excited because it was the first time in a very long time that a player actually wanted to go to Montreal.
Yeah.
Which I understand.
Yeah. And it ended up working out, you know?
Yeah.
So I just want to say, definitely a mistake by the the Kings took a risk, right? The fact that they managed to get out of this after a year without any salary retention or buyout, I mean, like, damn, that's, I don't want to say impressive, but it's like they were able to avoid something.
It makes it look a little better than yeah.
Yeah.
But god damn what they gave up for him.
It's unfortunate.
Get him in. It's like
exactly. That's
they gave
why
like two-thirds of a good forward line to fucking Winnipeg. Like
it's unfortunate if you take all of these all of the Dubois trades and smush them together. So you look at it and you look at the Kings paying, what was it, like multiple picks?
It was like Velarde, Iafallo, Kupari, who was a prospect, and I think like a pick for Darcy Kemper.
Yep. If you look at it that way, it looks so fucking bad.
Yeah.
Dude,
that's because it is. It's terrible.
Yeah, Rob Blake's not the best GM in the world. But
I bet he would have signed Stamkos though.
Hold on one second.
You
forgot Stanley Cup champion Darcy Kemper.
That's right. That's true.
He is. I don't know if he was the largest part of that with Colorado, though.
That Avalanche team with, like, all those incredible players.
Francouz played a pretty big chunk of that, too.
Yeah, he did. He didn't lose any games.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, Francouz. Yeah.
Okay, is there any other fairly big trades you guys want to talk about? Oh, the Lightning grabbed some guy I've never heard of from the Penguins. Great.
Right now?
Yep.
Was that recent?
Lucas Svechkovsky for Bennett MacArthur.
That sounds like a minor league trade if I've ever heard one.
Excellent. Well, we can touch briefly on Tanev to the Maple Leafs. So they get his rights, and they can now sign him, which they were looking for him anyway. He knows tree living. What do you guys think about that?
That's fine.
He'll instantly become their best defenseman.
You think he's better than defensively better than Morgan Riley, at least?
Oh, by a mile.
By far, for sure, yes.
Yeah.
Their best defenseman, because Morgan Riley is technically, he plays the position of defense. But
yeah. Yep. Well, good. Good enough. Good enough for them. Good enough for them. All right, so you know what we can move on to, Benny, if you still have this free agent, you still got that free agent list up.
I can bring it right back up real quick.
So first of all, we'll start. Let's start with a couple of Stanley Cup champions, boys. Sam Reinhart. What do we think about Sam Reinhart? What does he do? What is he thinking, and where does he end up? And what is he looking for?
Everything I've seen and heard from like different people reporting on it, like your Chris Johnsons and whatnot, somewhere around 9 or 10 mil, like what Barkov and Kachuk are in and around making.
Mm-hmm.
And he, by all reports, wants to stay in Florida. He likes it in Florida. He wants to keep going there, which I mean, I probably would too if I was in that situation with where their team is at and how good they are.
Yeah.
I honestly think he's probably just gonna end up staying there.
Yep.
Same.
I agree.
Same. Yep.
I usually see, and this is, you know what? This brings me back to a story I wanted to tell, and I totally forgot until just now. But I always tend towards the more boring thing happening, or like the less exciting thing. Even
is often the case in hockey.
even in the
Usually goes that
games,
way.
because I was watching the Leafs Boston Game 7, and when it went to overtime, and I was like, in the break in between the third and overtime, I was talking to Danielle, and I was like, Danielle, watch Boston end this like 2 minutes in.
And they did that.
They did exactly that, and I was like, oh my god.
Because it's Game 7 overtime against Toronto.
Yep.
Like, yeah, that's
And then going into Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final, I was like, this sort of just feels like the Panthers are just gonna do it. Like they're just gonna win, and it's gonna be boring, and it's gonna suck. And that's what happened. I mean, the game itself was boring. It was a good game, but like, you know, like the crescendo, it's crescendoing, and then just, you know what I mean? Like, oh, they're gonna do it. No, no, they're not.
Yeah, that was the thing. Like the entire Cup Final, I didn't really have a rooting interest. But then once it got to the point where they came back from down 3-0, I'm like, all right, Edmonton. Well, now that you did the fucking thing, do the
it.
fucking thing.
Actually,
like,
finish it off.
Yeah, but oh well.
That's where I'm at. If whatever the least exciting option is, that's what I think is gonna happen.
You know how Florida started playing defense the entire third period? If the Islanders ever win a cup, they're gonna start playing defense halfway through the first period.
they're gonna get one goal in like the first 10 minutes, and then the rest is just trap.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorokin, a 54 save shutout for the Stanley Cup somehow. Yeah.
All right.
That's what you would have been looking at if that 21 Cup Final had ended up being Habs versus Islanders.
Oh my god. That would have been.
That's what
terrible.
I wanted
I'm
for
sorry,
my own fandom's sake, but it would have been atrocious hockey. It would have been atrocious hockey.
Yeah. That honestly though, it would have been the hockey itself would have been slow, but I feel like
it would have been a more interesting series.
The series itself would have been a little closer.
Probably like a 6 or 7 game series, but
yeah. So fortunately, that is not how it happened.
Yeah.
But anyway, another free agent coming from Florida, Montour. And this one I think is a little bit more interesting because I think there's a far greater chance that he ends up somewhere else.
I don't think they're going to have the money to. I think because of the fact they're going to be looking toward Sam Reinhart, they're not going to have the money to allocate toward him.
Yeah.
The one that I saw that was interesting, I saw somebody reporting it on Twitter last night. One of the 15 insiders that we all follow said that Utah was looking pretty hard at him.
Ooh.
And that they're looking
to be
money. They're looking to be some big players in free agency because that Ryan Smith, that owner, he got his new toy. He wants to actually make the team good.
He wants it to be good. Yeah.
So I'm interested to see what kind of swings they take tomorrow.
It'll be interesting. It's going to be an interesting day. What do you think? What do you think about that, Montour? So that would give them Sergachev, Marino, and Montour
as 3 of their top 6 defensemen. That's pretty good.
Solid right there.
That's pretty good.
Oh baby. And then Jeff Skinner coming in on the wing.
Hey, who knows?
Coyotes, like, we were able to see these players in a college rink right on the glass, and now they get all these good players. I hate it.
As soon as they leave, they're ready to spend money.
That's so well. I mean, shocker.
Yeah.
Shocker! It wasn't the team; it was the ownership, which we all knew.
Yeah. Which, hey, it's sort of off topic, but news came out. It was literally pretty strategically placed by Morello on Stanley Cup, the night that the Stanley Cup game, like the elimination, Game 7, I can't fucking talk, that happened. News came out that he had relinquished his, like, ownership rights to the, like, the team and the name and all that jazz, and it went back to the NHL. So get fucked, Alex Morello.
He's outta here.
He's out of here, and hopefully, if something does come down the line, because I have definitely flipped in my thinking on Arizona over time. I do think, given the right situation, I think it could work there. There's enough like
100%.
grassroots youth hockey that going on there that there's clearly interest. There just has never been a solid footing ever.
They just gotta, They just need They just need a building in a good spot with people
steady
around.
ownership
And steady ownership. Yeah.
Yeah. So
they can definitely
hopefully we can get there. I hope they can.
That'll be the next expansion draft. That'll be the next expansion team.
Yeah. But the real question is, where the fuck are the Jets records now?
Oh my gosh, they're in Utah. What do you mean?
The OG? No, they're not. They specifically made that a part of.
Oh, did they?
They made it a part of the whole thing when all that went down.
So Utah's its own thing now, essentially.
Utah is technically an expansion team because the whole thing was they made it like a special agreement with Morello to make the whole sale happen, where the Coyotes just became, what was the word they used? Like out of commission. It was like inactive, something like that. They were an inactive franchise. Utah was an expansion franchise. Like the pick they made, taking Tej Aginla the other night, or is it Tej, whichever it is, that was their first draft pick in franchise history. They're a new team. They're an entirely new team.
The old Jets records they're gone, man.
Because
they never existed.
That was a part of it where, because they were still considered part of that Coyote stats. So when Morello kept the stats and the team name, whatever, it still stayed with him. But now that he relinquished all it, so is it just with the NHL?
They'll be back when the team comes back.
I guess. So yeah.
All right, what do you got for other free agents? We've already talked about Stamkos. We don't need to talk about him.
Talked about Stamkos. We talked about Jake Gensel. I'm interested to see what happens with Jonathan Marchessault. Because I don't know if Vegas, now that like they signed the Hanifin extension once they acquired him with trade, I'm not familiar with their cap situation. I don't know if they're going to be able to make that work for an older guy who just scored 40 goals.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to be able to match what he's asking for, kind of situation, or if he's he's 33 now. He might be at a point where he wants to keep his happiness and like he's established roots in Vegas, and he might do all right, I can take a bit of a haircut kind of thing, but like I don't know if he views that.
How much of a haircut though? Because it's Vegas.
There's that, and he's not gonna have a better situation. Like this is his last big. He just scored 40 goals going into a UFA year. Like you cannot cook it up any better. Like he could get a lot of money. So I'm interested to see where he goes.
Dude,
although it wouldn't shock me if he decides to just stay there. Because like I said, he's been there for a while now and has roots and stuff. So yeah.
What do you think, Rick?
I need Utah to get him. I need it.
That'd be a hell of a swing.
I need it to keep happening. It's gonna be great.
Utah is gonna come out and they're gonna be the best team in the Central. Are they in the Central? Yeah, they'll stay. In the Central.
Would be. They would have to be. Yeah, I mean, yeah, just geographically. They would be, because like even going into last year, they were kind of in the playoff race for a while there until the team went on a massive losing streak that come to find out coincided with like when the team first started hearing rumors about what was going to be going down with the move. Like when you have that kind of situation looming over you, I can see it becoming hard to sort of keep spirits up. Like I mean, I'd be hard dealing with like the college rink the entire time too. Like they were in a weird spot. But they have the bones of a decent team, so if they go even harder with their additions tomorrow, I'd be intrigued to see if they make a push for like a bubble like playoff spot there.
I can see that. I can totally see that. All right, what else you got?
Any other significant? Adam Henrique, that's interesting. He could be pretty useful. He was pretty useful for Edmonton there. He could be a good second, third line center for some teams. He'd be a good second line center for a lot of bad teams, and then like a good third line center for like a good team. That could be interesting. It's not a crazy.
Not
it's
great.
not
There's like
crazy
big. There's big
UFA
names at the
class.
top, and then it falls off pretty quick.
Yeah.
Well, all right.
So we'll see what happens tomorrow.
Yeah, keep an eye out. 12 p.m. Eastern. Keep an eye out.
Yeah, I want to double check. Is that actually?
It sounds familiar. I think that it is.
Does 2024 NHL free agency start? Yes, noon on Monday.
There we go. We'll see it all then. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back, and we got one last thing to talk about, and that is the first 6 players named to each of the 4 nations teams. And this is exciting.
I forgot about that.
This is exciting, gentlemen.
It is.
Let's do it after this. All right, so next season, I should say, the All-Star game is being replaced by a tournament called the Four Nations Cup. And we just found out the first 6 players for each team, and those teams are Canada, the US, Finland, and Sweden. So, yeah, let's go Sweden. So, no shocker here. Sweden is heavy on the defense. They've always been a defensive factory, at least for as long as I've been paying attention. And they are bringing Hedman, Carlson, Forsling, and then they have 3 forwards as well: Forsberg, Nylander, and Zibanejad. So that's the first 6 for Sweden. Not bad. Not too bad.
That's a pretty strong crew right there, honestly.
Yeah. Not too bad at all. The only thing I'm looking at when I look at their team is who's in net. I cannot for the life of me think of a Swedish goaltender.
Is Ullmark Swedish?
Is he?
Yeah, Markstrom.
Oh, all right. They're good. Oh, I forgot about Markstrom.
Oh, then yeah, they're fine.
Yeah, never mind. They're good. Just kidding. Yeah. I just didn't know. I was unaware.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So they're going to be good. I think everybody's looking, and rightfully so, looking at Canada and the U.S. as like, this is probably going to be the final. But look out, man.
Yeah.
Look out for Sweden.
Sweden's interesting. Yeah.
Watch out. A bunch of Stanley Cup champs on that team.
Yeah.
And then if we go to Finland, so Finland is the team that squeaked in because they're not allowing Russia to be represented. And this is something I always forget. Barkov is Finnish. He's not Russian.
Yeah.
So they've got Barkov, Saros, Heiskanen, Lindell, Aho, and Rantanen. So again, you look at that. Oof.
That's a pretty I mean, not really any bad players there.
No, the only one that's like not sexy is like Lindell, is in your top 6 of that. Like that kind of looks not.
That was
super
crazy.
good.
It's not awesome, no, but yeah.
What I want to say about the Finnish team, though, look around the league. Look at the amount of depth Finnish players that help teams win Stanley.
Oh yeah, they're all over. They're a huge hockey country.
Stars, and then they have their depth players in a tournament like this. I never count Finland out. I will.
No, not at all. Not at all. All right. And then the U.S. shockingly don't name Hellebuck to their top 6.
Interesting.
Their goaltender.
Did they name a goalie or no? They just did like
not.
Forwards and defense.
Just for 3 forwards, 3 defense. So we've got Matthews, Matthew Tkachuk. I assume Brady will be there as well, but for the top 6, they're just doing Matthew.
There might be enough options where he doesn't.
Maybe. Jack Eichel. Then on the D side, Quinn Hughes, Norris Trophy winner, Charlie McAvoy, and Adam Fox. So pretty solid.
No shockers there.
Yep.
And then then you bring up Connor Hellebuck. You think about U.S. in net with a tandem of Hellebuck, Ottinger.
I was thinking Swayman myself.
They usually name 3 goalies, so there's the third. So
Swayman, Ottinger, Hellebuck. That's exactly what I was
nutty. Like
they're good in net for sure.
Yeah.
And that's like a good spread too, because it's like Hellebuck's older, but then Ottinger's like 25 or whatever, and then I think Swayman's like 22 or 21 or something like that, or 23.
Yeah.
He's younger.
So
No, that's when you look at the U.S., their strength is in net, and then their second strength, I'd say, is defense.
Is it forward?
Oh, you say
absolutely
forward?
Well, they've over the last few years they've gotten like you got the Hughes brothers, you got.
I mean, they're good.
You got like Jack Eichel, got Austin Matthews.
They're good for sure. But I was thinking
yeah.
like in comparison to these other teams is what I was thinking.
Fair enough.
Is
yeah.
I think goalie and then defense, other than Sweden, obviously. But
yeah.
So yeah, let's go right to Canada.
Oh man.
No shockers here. Crosby, McKinnon, McDavid, Makar, and then Marchand and Point. And I was actually pretty surprised, but happy that he's getting some recognition that Pointer's in there. Because I feel like they could have gone another direction, but they're like, yeah, no, we've got to get Point in there.
Well, it's kind of a bit of a changing of the guard kind of situation. Like, this is gonna suck if the timing lines up where Stamkos doesn't get named to like that or the
team.
Olympic team, because the Olympic team I think is the one he'll care more about, but that's even in another year. So
I mean, who knows if he
really
can stay if he can stay healthy? I think he's got a good. We'll do this.
Well,
they'd
use him as a center on a wing as
100%. Well, he doesn't play center on the Lightning, so
he's
like
is he pretty much done there too?
He hasn't played center on the Lightning in years. He's basically he's a winger that can take faceoffs if he needs to.
Right. Okay.
We'll do this maybe next week or the week after, but each of us will take a team and we'll come up with a mock lineup.
Yep.
Okay.
To see, because then we can look at the Canadian lineup and we can actually see where Stamkos could slot in if everything goes right.
That is a hell of a crop of forwards right off the bat.
That's
though.
good.
Like my God, it's gonna be so much fun to watch a team with Crosby, McDavid, and McKinnon on it.
Yeah.
Like that is wild.
Two of the best forwards in the league.
Three of the best forwards.
Three. I guess you could just say three. I was going because two of them were top 3 Hart Trophy.
Right. But I mean, even the year Crosby
is
had
good
was
anyway.
Insane this year.
Makar is good. Makar is a great defenseman, probably best in the league when he's on his game. Marchand.
Yeah.
What do you think about Marchand, Eric?
That feels like a legacy pick.
It feels like a legacy, but like also I don't know. Doesn't he have like pretty good chemistry with Crosby and like a bunch of other...
Actually. He has a past at doing well with him at international play. Holy fuck! Sidney Crosby the last 2 years, 93 points and 94 points.
He's good.
He's 36.
He's good.
What the fuck?
As Adam.
But yeah, so out of these 4 teams, which 6 do you think sets up the team better, if you know what I'm saying?
I mean, jeez.
They're all good.
I sneakily kind of like that Swedish 6. Canada, those forwards in Canada, that's nuts though. It's gonna fall apart when you look at goalies, but
Jordan Bennington.
But yeah, Jordan Bennington is our savior. I do really like that forward group for Canada. That would be for me.
I'm looking at Finland, man.
Yeah.
They've got Heiskanen and Lindell, so you've got 2 defensemen there. They have a whole line. They have a whole
just starting 5.
Starting 6. Barkov, Aho, Rantanen, Saros in net, Heiskanen and Lindell. Oh baby.
That's not bad.
That's pretty good.
That's not bad.
That's pretty good.
I think they're going to be the team that's going to have the hardest time filling out the edges, though.
Yes, definitely, 100%. What about you, Eric? Which of those 6 are you looking at?
So for me, it's Finland or Team USA. And I say Team USA because I don't think Team USA has been this balanced with like high-end talent. And
no, I think this is the strongest American team we're gonna have seen in our lives in terms of like at international competitions.
Yeah,
they look good.
yeah. I think it's gonna be amazing. Some of the young talent too.
I'm
It's gonna be
excited.
great.
Next week, boys. I'll send a message around and see. But we should do that. We should each pick a team and make a lineup.
100%.
Yeah. All right, that's gonna do it, I think, for us. Unless any of you guys have anything you wanna talk about last second.
I do.
Oh.
I do.
What
I
do
just
we
want to
got?
give a quick shout out. Not that he's listening to this, but it was really cool seeing Kyle Oposo lift the Stanley Cup. I just want to say that's a
Oh,
light.
that was yeah.
I grew up with Kyle Oposo. I remember going to a game where the Islanders were playing the Blackhawks, and I was young. This is when the Blackhawks were like a juggernaut. And didn't expect the Islanders to win. Kyle Oposo scored the game-winning goal with like 6 minutes left in the third period. It was
Hell yeah.
But yeah, just a big, like underratedly big and skilled forward for like the size he had and the skill that he had, the hands that he had. Good. Again, not like he was a superstar, but just a great depth addition to the Panthers. And it was really awesome to see him finally lift the Stanley Cup after 17 seasons.
I think that was my favorite story on like of all like because I was whenever it gets down to it at the end and I'm watching two teams that are not mine, I'm just like trying to find all the different storylines of like whatever guy's been around forever is on each team, and that was the one that I sort of zeroed in on. Like it'd be really cool if he got it, and I was happy to see him get that.
That was nice. That was cool. All right, that's gonna do it. Hopefully we'll be back next week. We never know. Some things might come up, but hopefully we'll be back next week. Hopefully with all four, and hopefully we can go over some international team lineups because that would be very fun.
Oh, yeah.
That's gonna do it for us today. Have a good week. Pay attention to free agent frenzy on Monday. Who knows? We don't know. Your team might get Steven Stamkos.
Do the thing. Oh yeah.
All right, that's gonna do it for us. See you next week.